Hello, my lovely little titans, and welcome back to yet another wonderful episode and fun-filled evening of the weekly Hangout of Randomness. As you can see, I did return from vacation. I did post that earlier. We just went and saw family, so nothing too huge, but it was a lot of fun. Oh, hello, Ira. Oh, happy Pride Month. Yes, definitely. How are you, Ira? And I gotta decide whether I want to wear glasses or not. Because of the glare. The glare. Can you guys hear me okay over the AC and everything? Hi, Harmony. I just want to make sure you can hear me or not. If not, I'll just turn it off. And no, I don't have like corona or a cold or anything. I had allergies when I was visiting family, so that's what this lovely voice fluctuation is. So, not sick, just allergies. Me and my daughter both have that. It's a result of a combination of cat and pollen. Good if I started canning as kids today on Tuesdays. Oh, nice. Sounds like you had fun. Okay. Just like I said, wanted to make sure. Oh, nice. Florida? That sounds great. Oh, hi, Wolf. Yes, we are doing very well, except my daughter and I got allergies. Those seem to be lingering and persisting. And I did have a great trip. We are probably going back next month to celebrate my niece's birthday and to have my daughter meet her great-grandmother. My grandmother on my mom's side. Maybe my grandmother on my dad's side. She hasn't met her either. Ooh, how to surf? Nice. Yeah, I'm not that talented. I don't think I could do that. And the ocean I visited was the Pacific in the upper west coast of the United States. Not always the friendliest of waters to do anything in. Oh, nice. I'm sorry to hear that, Ira, but at least it seems like you're getting better. My allergies weren't nearly as bad as my daughter's. Poor thing. She having nose trouble and coughing really bad. I just was sneezing and having voice changes, so I count that as good because probably 10 years ago it wouldn't have been that nice. I had allergy shots when I was a kid, and they seem to have worked, and every year it gets better, but it took a lot of work to get to where I can stand to be in a house with a cat. Before I couldn't even be in the same room as a cat. Have to balance the surf. Only started very easy with a large board and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, at least you stood up. I don't even think I could have gotten that far. I'd have been like, I'm just gonna stay here and lay on this, and we're just gonna paddle around for a bit, like the whole time. It's kind of like how it was when I was learning how to ski. I am not a fan of skiing. I am not a fan of snowboarding. I like sledding. I like tubing. I do not like the thing where I have to stand up on these rails, basically, and plummet down a mountain. I'm good. Really don't need that. Give me something far more stable. Snowshoeing, for example, is far more stable. Cross-country skiing, I guess, would be more stable because all you're doing is kind of like hiking. But oh goodness. I'm glad the video came up because I've had a really sad heartbreak. Oh, I'm so sorry. But it's really hot during the summer, so I agree because where I live, but I like the summers, but winters I hate it gets freezing. Define freezing in Florida. Because where we get negative, and then we get negative winds. So define freezing for me. It's a lot of really cute people down here. Oh my God, Harmony. And Mariah, I'm sorry to hear about your dog. I'm sorry, are you a regular in our video, in the streams and you go under a different name usually? I'm sorry, I don't recognize it. Got a kitten, her name is Ruby. We kind of found her under our house. Oh. I mean, that's so cute, but Ira. The poor thing's eyes aren't even open yet. Oh. That's sad. I hope your kitten's doing better. I hope she's doing better. Oh, and if you guys can't tell in the background, there's a new poster that Tech bought me. I'll bring it over. And my mom and I kind of help her like with her eyes. That's good. All right. Oh, and my husband has his headset on his mic. But anyway, this is the poster. Back when everybody still had hope. And then what was really cool was, so when it was rolled up, it had this little picture on the outside that showed what the image looked like. And the image is actually really nice quality and made of the same cloth material as the actual one. I gave it to my daughter and she was thrilled with it. And it's like this little 2x2, a little rectangle. Oh, nice. Heard Ruby and instantly thought Supernatural. That series is good. It really is. Are you going to watch the prequel series? I love how in that poster you can see Grisha and Carla's looking kind of proud down at Aaron, and Grisha's just got his back turned. Like he's just completely given up. Sorry. They're making a prequel series for Supernatural, which is going to detail Mary and John and their relationship and how they ended up where they are. Not that anybody actually cares. Honestly, after watching Supernatural and getting to the arc where Mary's at, they were both terrible parents, terrible people, and Sam and Dean deserved better, and they deserve to not. They deserve better parents, and they shouldn't have spent their whole lives either trying to be them or miss them. This is what happens when I get told not to buy something. Maybe she's doing much better than a little kitten. That's so sweet. No, they don't. Oh, all the hellos. Hi, Sharos. You're up to season 12? Holy crap. I'm doing well. Season 12. I think that's kind of where I ended. I mean, you can only take the apocalypse happening so many times before you're just like, really, this again? Don't get me wrong. The series is fantastic up until I think about season 10. And then it gets a little repetitive. And then I'm just like, okay, let's reevaluate here. You had a really cool thing going. You should have ended when the apocalypse ended. But you decided not to for whatever reason. And now we are stuck with like perpetual apocalypse. Like unending apocalypse with just different players. Like Amara wasn't necessary. I feel like they just brought her in to then introduce Mary and then the British supernatural group. We didn't really need that unless they were going to go do something with that, and all they did with that was make them evil. I don't see why efficiency has to be evil. Like they were really good at what they did. Why did they have to be evil about it? That piece of hair. Can you go over this? Yeah, you might. Sorry. But seriously, the Men of Letters or whatever it was didn't need to be evil. Didn't even need to be there. Like you could have done the bunker. I get it. Give them a home base, whatever you want to call it. But personally, I didn't mind him going to digs in the Impala or anything like that. I thought it was fine. The bunker is just kind of like, really? Why didn't we have this sooner? Because obviously people knew it was there. I have not seen Stranger Things season 4. It looks cool though. I did not grow up watching Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park. The dinosaur thing never was my interest. But I'm kind of surprised that they were able to keep the series going for this long. I would have thought that the dinosaurs, escaping the park so many times would have gotten old. But it looks cool. I wonder if this is actually going to be the last one or if it's going to be like the last one until they decide to do like a new generations kind of thing. I feel sorry for me having to work with Jared. X on him today. He did for a while, if I remember correctly, but now like they're all really good friends. And actually, Jensen and Jared helped Misha a lot with like fundraising efforts, and they gave him, I guess, style tips because his style was terrible before they met. What I feel bad, what I feel bad most for is the actors, because people got weird about that show and about their shipping stuff. They would ship the actors, and people were even going so far as to send death threats to the wives of Jared and Jensen and Misha, telling them to get divorced or to go kill themselves or something, so that they could have their real life ship of Jensen and Misha, or Jared and Jensen, whatever it was. It was weird. I feel bad for the wives. Their wives are very talented, wonderful people, and they didn't deserve that. I feel like people need to really. Oh, sorry, Charrose. We're talking about Supernatural, actors, show, stuff in general. Really, really, really far off from Attack on Titan, but Wolf's watching the series again, and I've watched up to season 12. I can't bring myself to finish it. So we're just discussing it. The fandom is pretty bad. Like that was another thing that is another example of when I stayed away from until this fandom kind of calmed down a bit. But then I'm like, you didn't calm down at all. You people are crazy. I mean, almost as crazy as the people that send off letters of death threats of not getting their ship in like a manga or an anime. But these are real people. That's what's crazier, is these are real people that these are actors. These are real people. and you're obsessed with shipping the actors with each other. That I didn't understand. That I thought was weird. I'm like, they're friends. Yeah. Ship the characters, not the actors. That's just weird. I never watched Stranger Things. Last one, maybe the Flower Monster. I don't know. I guess. I never saw A Quiet Place. I have seen Stranger Things up to season 2. I liked season 2. Season 1 was pretty good. I wish they had kept more of the nerd aspect throughout the seasons. Because if I remember correctly, like season 2, it starts off strong in the nerd culture thing and then kind of dies off after they name Dart and the other monsters. So, we'll see. I might watch season 3 and 4. I don't know yet. I don't know if I'm that bored yet. But apparently season 4 is supposed to be fantastic for with Stranger Things, so I'm glad they're finishing up the series. They ended it kind of sad, I remember. I think that's why I don't follow the fandom. People are crazy. As we say that we're in the Attack on Titan fandom, so I mean, I guess a little bit of us are crazy too. I regret watching it because then I watched it. I mean, it's not a bad show at all. It's very bingeable. But I can feel you on that. What did I watch? Oh, Heaven Official's Blessing. I watched that show until 3 in the morning. I finished the series. And then I rewatched it again. Finished it. It's a really good series. That one I was so happy I finished. I started and finished. And then I read the book before it was officially printed in English. There was a translation online. I got to book 4 before they took it off. And then my husband bought me the starter books for all of the series for the author. And now I'm like obsessed with all of their works. It's just amazing. They're really good. But not to that point. Well, I mean, we don't have real life actors. Thank God. Oh God. Could you Tori Sayama gets enough crap from the fandom. I can't imagine if there were real life actors involved. Like, voice actors probably get some heat too, but probably not as bad as live action. I only got 2 hours. I mean, yeah, I could see that too. This is what I saw. I mean, I felt bad. I mean, they did a really good job with the monsters. But they did a really crappy job with some of their human characters. I started watching Howl's Moving Castle. I kind of like it, like the animation and so pretty. I don't know what else I can remember watching it for seconds. Howl's is really great. If any of you have ever played Ni no Kuni, the series, you don't have any of the games. Howl's Moving Castle and Ni no Kuni are animated by the same people, which is Studio Ghibli. They also do Kiki's Delivery Service, Ponyo. Spirited Away is one of their most famous ones. My Neighbor Totoro. So, if you guys like those movies or that animation style, play Ni no Kuni. It's the same. It's got that same, mystical, magical world as all Ghibli films. And they just released a mobile game too, I think. So, just an idea if you guys like that animation or like the studio in general. They do other things. They do video games. That one caught me. Watched it with my friend last week. It was good. I think Howl's is one of their more out there ones. I mean, it's a beautiful story. I love it. But as you watch more of their movies, you're just kind of like, yeah, Little Witch in real life sounds more plausible than Howl's. Even Spirited Away seems more plausible than Howl's. I will say the only thing that doesn't seem plausible at all is if you ever watch Ponyo, there's a little boy, Sosuke, and his mom is probably the like number one most accepting of any kind of weird shit in the world. She doesn't question where Ponyo comes from. She doesn't question how Ponyo knows Sosuke. She doesn't question anything. She just goes with it. Like this woman, top tier mom quality right there. So that's probably the only unbelievable thing. I'm like, if I was in this position, I'd be questioning the freak out of my 4 or 5 year old about how do you know this person? How did they find us? All this other stuff. So that's the only out of the whole series that Ghibli has ever made. That is the only thing I question is why didn't Sosuke's mom question a little bit more about Ponyo and her origins. I know what you're talking about. Like one of the characters looks just like Howl, and I don't want to say the name because I'm going to butcher it. But I know what you're talking about. Yes. That's exactly what I was thinking too. In the Ni no Kuni mobile game, he looked just like Howl. I told that to my husband, and I'm like, I know they're made by the same studio, but that's insane. Did they just confirm that Howl's Moving Castle and Ni no Kuni are in the same universe? Because if so, that'd be amazing. And we need a movie. We need a new movie about that, or a new video game with Sophie and Howl. Rose, is Heartstopper the one on Netflix about the oh god, about the two boys? I think they're on the rugby team together or something like that. I can't remember. I know they were on like a sports team together. And that the trailer opens with one of the boys eating cereal and telling his sister that he broke up with his boyfriend at the time or whatever, and she went, good, he was a twat or something. I don't know. I was just like, that's an awesome sister right there. Yes. Oh, okay. Good. I'm glad I was right about that. Hey, Ciel. You've been off your phone for a while? It's one movie called Grave of the Fireflies. Yeah. Yep. I know Grave of the Fireflies. I cried terribly. That movie is so beautiful, but then it's so horrible. Wonderful, beautiful movie. I highly recommend it. But I only highly recommend you watch it if you're in the right mind space. Because it is really hard. It is really heavy. And the ending is, what is it? Angst with an angsty happy ending, I guess, would be the way I would describe it. Like the whole movie is just angst. And the ending, it's a happy-ish ending. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's a happy-ish ending. It doesn't end as you would want it to, but it ends happily enough that you find yourself okay with it. I got a new phone yesterday as well as iPhone 13 Pro. I have to pay $90. That is a really good deal. Pretty sure my husband would love to trade in our phones for something other than what we have, but I don't feel like doing that. And Ciel, if you are just now joining us, we have been talking about Studio Ghibli films and Supernatural in the fandom. Oh, nice. That is cute. I'm glad you're finally able to get a new phone. I got a new phone after my daughter was born, like the fall of that year. So our phones are 3 years old now, almost 3. So I love Ghost Talk. So when I say Supernatural, I mean the show. I mean similar. Yeah. But well, I don't know. That show is really good. It had a lot of potential. I don't like how it ended. I don't like the excuse of, oh, it was COVID. Really. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of shows happened during then, and none of them ended that crappily. And the fandom of Supernatural is pretty crazy too. Like, we were talking before about how the wives of the actors are you know, the subject of some of the fans' ire because they're married to their actors who they ship with each other. So, way weirder than Attack on Titan. So when is the new video coming out? Well, I just got back from vacation. I've been on vacation for the last week and a half. So by what? Sorry. So let me think. So I just got back. I have my stepkids until the 10th. So maybe after the 10th. I have some ideas from you guys and from other videos that I wanted to expand on. So I will have something. Ciela, we'll make it on your video, on a couple other requested videos. If you guys have any more requests, just put them in a community post. Maybe we'll get a few out this month instead of just one at a time. So we'll see. Let's see. Moon, what did you think of the cast Lucifer with Crowley? I thought it was funny, but the floor cleaning scene was gross to start. I don't remember cast Lucifer that much. I mean, I kind of do. The one I remember more was Demon Dean. That was hilarious. When he was going palling around with Crowley, that was hilarious. And Crowley was like, I don't want to do this. Like, it was fun, but now let's like do something seriously evil now. Okay, well, it's just popped up in my head. The name Crowley is just bloody. I love Twisted Wonderland. I hear Twisted Wonderland's getting an anime. I don't remember for sure, but I think they are. What did you see that was so funny, Ciel? And well, so yes, there was a cast Lucifer, but there was also Demon Dean, and I think Demon Dean was hilarious. Cast Lucifer was just terrifying. Hilarious, but terrifying. Like, Lucifer was just amazing. There's a meme like something. And Facebook said I couldn't change my username to Levi because it's too short. Oh God. So many short jokes. That's good though. Yeah, I was thinking of doing some more of those where like you read, like amidst the dialogue and you create the scene. But I'm thinking instead of just making it exclusively Aaron and Levi introducing Hanji, because I found some that were phrased very much like Hanji and very much like Hanji and Levi. I feel like, yeah, I could do some of those. And moms, their dads are shit. Or dads. Yeah. And they both can't stand Mikasa. I completely forgot that Levi calls Mikasa the gloomy brat. Like, what? It doesn't have to be somebody with black hair. His mom had black hair. Kushal had, Kuchel, whatever her name was. I can't remember how to pronounce it because I heard it in the anime. It was like Kushal, and then I read it as Kuchel, so. Let's just call her Shell. Jean is the only one with a happy functioning family. Like, he really is. He has a mom and a dad and a whole family. Like, he's the only one with a happy, healthy family. And they get to stay that way. Gloomy brat. Yeah, he calls Mikasa the gloomy brat. That's how he references her when they're doing those experiments with Eren, seeing how many times he can transform. And when Mikasa jumps off and Hanji tells her to stop, he says the gloomy brat isn't listening again. I'm like, oh, I wish this had been a thing through the whole series. I think that was the point. His dad was no one relevant. We know that he gets his power and his abilities through his mom's side, so that was the only relevant thing. You're still researching who his dad was. I do not subscribe to the idea that it was Rod Reese at all. I do not subscribe to that. Never have. I get it because he's short, but we have to also consider that maybe Levi wasn't meant to be short. He was probably more of a product of the fact that he was malnourished and lived deprived his entire life, which can have a huge effect on height. I mean, if you look at Farland and Isabel, they weren't that tall either. So it might just, I mean, most people in the underground didn't seem all that tall to me. So that may be part of it. I'm not doing it. I'm not going with it. I know people can be short because of a gene, but that's what I'm saying is we can't just say, we have to find a short person that matches this this phenotype or genotype. Because again, it could be a product of where he grew up. So we also have to take that into account. It could be a tall person. I'd laugh my ass off if it was Hannes. Because he's pretty old when the series starts. He could be old enough to have had like a one-time fling. That'd be hilarious. And he could have been young when he did it. And I mean, like, Kenny isn't all that old. And he's still rocking it, so. They should have lived. Meaning the sun grow. Right. Yeah, that would have made him and Krista half siblings. Wolf. Which, I mean, we know Rod got around, but I think Rod had high standards. I think Krista's mom was a professional of sorts, but she was not from the underground. I think she was a professional. They had them in like the show Firefly. They called them companions. So maybe she was that, and he just liked her. Because remember, he would always call for her. She would get dressed up in these beautiful gowns, and she would go in a carriage and go off for the night and come back. Or she'd be gone for days and come back later. So I think her mom was a professional of sorts, but not a professional like Levi's mom. So I don't think Rod. Also heard Mika says royalty in another part of an island when that make Levi royalty. I have heard of that, yes. So I heard that Mika says technically royalty through her mother because her mother was Asian clan and her dad was technically the Ackerman. Again, I don't subscribe to that theory either because if you look, somebody actually did a full-on comparison, like showing like your crush's mom, your crush's like brother, your crush's dad, or something like that. You look at Mikasa, Levi, and Mikasa's mom, and Kenny, and they all three look the same. You look at her dad, there's no family resemblance at all between Kenny and him. There's more of a family resemblance between those four I just named than by the one that they think is an actual Ackerman. So that's why I think the Ackermans are actually part of the Asian clan that were brought in later and integrated. I mean, Kenny looks Like, you could be part of the Asian clan. Levi definitely does. Mikasa for sure. Her mom, 100%. So that's how the royalty thing came about, though, is because of the Asian clan thing. There's no confirmation that Levi actually is a member of the Asian clan. He's just an Ackerman. So no, he's not royalty, unfortunately. Mikasa is, though. She's a princess of some sort. Chris's mom's terrible. Yes, they are. But what's the big deal about being royalty? It's just a person with power like President. No, but apparently it meant something in the Asian clan. It meant something to them that she had that A on her wrist. And I don't think it meant anything to Mikasa personally, but I think to the Asian clan it meant more. So I don't know. I personally like my take on their whole family, but that's just me. How come we never saw the A in the beginning? So I actually looked this up. It's in the manga if you look, but they changed it in the anime because they didn't want child cruelty and it's a brand. She was branded as a child with the A because of when she saved her family's chicken coop from the foxes. But in the show, they didn't want it to be the brand because they didn't want a child to be shown being branded by their parent. So they just made it an injury. But if you go read the manga, yeah, it's fully there. It's completely there. How come? Yeah, I'm confused. Like, did they add that? So they changed it in the anime, but in the manga, it's fully there. Yeah, kind of like with CL. They didn't again want child cruelty, so they didn't have that part in there. I was confused too, and then I read the manga and I'm like, wait, was this in the anime? I rewatched the anime. No, it wasn't. It was an injury. She sustained like an injury while outside or something. I thought what was messed up was the short they did, the alternate version of things where Mikasa's parents lived. Did you actually hear the rumors that? Whoa, I hadn't heard that. That's awesome, though. That would make sense. The little psychopath. But what I was saying was there's an alternate version of events where Mikasa's parents didn't die, and you find out why Grisha was going to visit them. And I'm sorry, you guys, for spoilers, but I really have to talk about this. Mikasa's mom was pregnant. That's why Mikasa was asking where do babies come from. So the reason Grisha was going to visit and do his checkup wasn't from Mikasa's injury. It was for Mikasa's mom being pregnant. And they actually showed it was a brother. She was going to have a brother. So that makes that scene all the more terrible. I was floored when I read that. I did so much research because I saw a blip on the wiki because I was doing research for something else. And I saw the blip about Mikasa's brother. I'm like, Mikasa didn't have a brother. And I clicked on it, and it full on took me to a page where it had this little boy with black hair. No, the mom didn't have an abortion. CL. In the series, Mikasa's parents were murdered by traffickers, by slave traders, slave traffickers, whatever you want to call them. And Mikasa's mom died while pregnant. So technically, Mikasa lost her mother, father, and brother that day. There's an alternate chapter, a couple chapters, where Grisha comes, Eren and Mikasa meet under better circumstances. They become like good friends, and Mikasa has a baby brother. So Mikasa's parents didn't die, she got a brother. I know, it is really messed up. Like I said, I read that. I'm like, I have to read. I read the whole thing, and I'm like, this is really great, but it makes the series, it just makes Mikasa's backstory even more tragic because she never talks about it. She never talks about the fact that she had a baby brother that was killed along with her parents, because apparently It was far enough that Mikasa knew. That's why she was asking where babies come from. But yeah, that was pretty messed up. I have not picked up the manga. I've only ever seen episodes of the anime. I know I sound terrible about that, but I mean the anime is amazing, except for season 2. The circus one is really bizarre and out there, and I didn't mind it, but I haven't read the manga. Not the children don't touch each other, right? The anime, but I think the anime. I love the voices. The anime just is hilarious. Like all of the side characters are amazing. I love all of Ciel's, I guess, servants, the gardener, and the maid, and everybody. I love them. And then watching Sebastian be one hell of a butler is fantastic too. Like it honestly doesn't get much better than that. Ooh, I hadn't heard that rumor. That's really cool though. They really need to the mangakas either need to confirm some of these rumors or they need to provide material or something as to what the actual order, because I mean people are always going to ask and we want to know. Or they need to look at our ideas and be like, yeah, let's go with that one. Oh, okay. um have any of you ever watched Hellsing Ultimate, the series? Not the original Hellsing. I mean, that one's good too, but Hellsing Ultimate. Because there's an episode that full on goes into Alucard's backstory, and it's pretty messed up. No, Krista did not have Aaron's baby. I can confirm that is not true. Krista. Okay, so Krista was meant to get pregnant with a baby that's supposed to inherit all of the powers from Aaron. Because if not all of the sources, they call them sources, but all the Titans aren't killed, um, or their host is killed without anybody inheriting it, it goes to a newborn. So they were trying to mitigate that by having a newborn born around the time when they were trying to do the end of the world crap. And it was Historia. She's actually pregnant by this childhood friend, I guess, that she knew growing up from the farm. You see him briefly in a couple of panels. But yeah, that's the father of the baby. The rumor states that Sebastian was taken from his family at a young age and a slave to the pharaohs of Egypt. I like that. I kind of hope that's true. It would be a little weird though that he made a deal like that only to end up being a slave in another way. I mean, does he have power? Yes, but there's kind of a price for that though. He's still a slave in a way. Maybe that was just his trade-off. He wanted that infinite cosmic power, and he went ahead and put on the cuffs. Like the genie in a way. Wonder what would happen if Ciel wished him free. Instead of Ciel, going through with the deal, what if he just freed Ciel? That'd be interesting. Or I don't know, that'd be kind of cool. Like I mean completely freedom from ever having to be summoned by a deal or anything. I think that would be awesome. That makes sense for why he likes cats so much. That and in Egypt cats are worshipped heavily. So that could also be part of it. He could have seen that as he was being blessed or something. Just realized that if the real Emir didn't free the pig, Titans wouldn't exist. Right? It all depends on a pig. This whole series could have been avoided if she hadn't freed the pig. So I've actually, because my lore for Humanity's Greatest is so different from the lore of Attack on Titan. I actually wrote it down. And would any of you guys be interested in hearing it? I can't remember if I read it to you, but I have changed and added to it since. So let me know if you want me to read it on stream. He has no family to be right? Kind of sounds like the story Joseph, the King of Dreams, only, he didn't end up being a demon. Because PTSD for the win, yeah. I don't know. I feel like you have to have some kind of trauma to qualify as an anime character. You don't have trauma? I'm sorry, you don't belong here. Go be in Italia or something. Those people are way too cheerful. They've all been in wars. True. I probably have some kind of PTSD or whatever, but I don't know what from specifically. I think everybody does at some point because things just, at one point or another, we all experience some kind of life-changing, scarring trauma. But we all think things are traumatic for different reasons, or we all have different life experiences, so we all have different types. So I don't think I've met a person who hasn't had something. It must just be human to have PTSD. Just some people get it worse than others for different reasons. Just like, yeah. Oh God. Oh, that's also kind of like what's her name from Ouran High School Host Club? I can never remember her name. Oh, sorry about that. There you go. All right. What do you think is Levi's greatest fear? Other than dirt, I'd say thunderstorms. Somebody actually made a really good argument for that. Being alone forever. If that was his fear, he's not doing a very good job of avoiding that. So, think about it. Levi's lived underground his entire life. Sure, he's heard thunderstorms, but they're probably muffled because of the ground and everything. So you don't hear the thunder like you hear the thunder above ground. So probably when he had his first ever thunderstorm above ground, which happened to be that also very traumatic day, the thunder probably scared the crap out of him because you go your whole life hearing something very mildly, and then you hear it for real, and it's like this just huge explosion of noise. Like, why wouldn't you be scared of that? So I think thunderstorms. I like that. I approve of that 100%. Maybe that's why I have very few memories of my childhood that are from being traumatized as a baby. Being in dark places. No, I think he thrives in dark places, to be honest. I think if any of you have ever seen Game of Thrones, there's that scene in like season 3 where Arya sword fights in the dark. I think that's Levi. Like, he can fight in the dark, so I would go with he doesn't fear the dark. He actually does better in it. Like, look at all the work he got done when they were on the run in the dark. Like, that man doesn't mess around. Fear of being a failure. And yeah, I share that, Sheriff. And also, Levi may have claustrophobic fear too as well because maybe Kenny abused him. I don't think Kenny abused him. I don't think Kenny was a great parent, but I don't think he abused them. This is his nephew. Okay. Well, if I don't mean that funny, like haha. I just like the mental image I had was funny. That's terrible that you were dropped on your head at all. Any child that's dropped on their head is terrible. I don't know why the mental image of just a baby smacking the floor made me laugh, but I have a very dark sense of humor, so sue me on that one. All right, so I have my start of the Titan lore brought up. So let me know if you want me to read it or not. He left him that day when a drunker was after him in age 8 or 9. Well, I mean, he didn't leave him until after he knew he could win the fight, for one. And for two, he even admits he wasn't that great of a parent. He shouldn't have been anybody's parent, but he had to take care of Levi. Somebody did. And honestly, I think I don't think he left Levi by choice. If you know who he worked for, I don't think it was by choice. Oh, we're at dark humor. Yeah. Push my childhood memories in space when I was sitting here. I find that the older you get, the less you remember, but then when you get old to a point, you remember more from the past than the present. So I'm sure I'll remember my childhood again at some point. All right, you guys want to hear my Titan lore? Dementia. Yeah, sure. You don't have to if you don't want to. I think we all have dark humor here. Probably. You have to be part of this group. All right. I guess I'll go ahead and read. And you guys can still hear me okay? I don't need to turn anything off. Now remember, I've changed a lot of what is an Attack on Titan about the lore of Titans and Ymir and stuff. So if you think it doesn't sound right, probably why. But if you think it doesn't sound right because it just doesn't make sense, let me know. Hi, Sky. How are you? Oh, Sebastian, hands down. All right. Oh my god. The first Titan shifter was Ymir Fritz. She was granted the power of the founding Titan in her most desperate hour when she was hunted for a crime she didn't commit by the enemy of her people. Unknown to her, it was from a parasite that was also desperate to live. It found her at the base of a dying tree when she was weakened from an attack, on the verge of death, and in a desperate act, fused to her spine through an open injury, granting her the power to become an unstoppable force as a massive creature 40 meters tall, able to traverse the terrain like a massive spider using a protruding rib cage. Of course, Ymir wasn't permanently stuck in this form. It was more of a self-created guardian, one that encased her entirely in this new body and allowed her to control it however she desired. This gift allowed her to drive back the enemy of her people all the way to the sea, where she made sure they couldn't return. Due to her triumph, her people swore fealty to her and her alone, and she was named Empress. Mama's pushing the trolley. My little sister told me so. Ooh, ow. Not good. The parasite was pleased it had found such a willing and helpful host, and it offered more power to Ymir in her early days as Empress, which she happily accepted, eternally grateful to the creature that saved not only her life, but the lives of her people. It called itself the Founder, and told her that she had the ability to create more like her, and that she could control them with just a thought, an entire army at her disposal without much effort. Ymir asked what was needed, and the parasite informed her that a person of her choosing must either bond with one of the parasite's offspring, or drink Ymir's spinal fluid without the offspring. She asked what would happen, and the parasite said the person who drank only the fluid would become a mindless thrall, good for dispatching enemies, but weaker by comparison to those who consumed the parasite's offspring, who would be given powers like Ymir's, but slightly different. The spinal fluid did not have to be Ymir's, just someone with an offspring. She agreed to the Founder's terms and asked that it inform her when it was ready with an offspring. I think Ymir made a deal with the demon. That's where I'm getting. Yeah, I was kind of going off of that. It was 3 years before the next Eldian was granted a place in Emir's side. The founder informed Emir of the creation of an offspring, one of great power, and she immediately picked her brother to be the recipient. She couldn't risk someone she couldn't trust or be able to observe during the first few days. Hi, Curie. Emir took her brother to the same place where she first encountered the founder and pulled the offspring off the nape of her neck. And then she sliced her brother's nape open down to his spine and inserted the offspring at the founder's instruction. The effect was almost immediate. Her brother transformed into a massive creature almost 30 meters tall and humanoid. Where Emir's had only enough skin to cover bone, this one had skin pulled over, bulging muscles, angled features, and a fearsome face. The founder told Emir that this child was to serve as commander of armies, a gift to a growing nation, and it was called the Attack. Hi, Ash. I didn't even see where Ash came in until now. The Attack was gifted with brilliant insight, foresight, and a clever mind, a body that could take and give devastating blows with a force akin to an earthquake. The Attack could view a battlefield or a small skirmish and immediately know which enemy to engage with first for the most devastating blow. There was nothing tactically that the Attack could not accomplish, plan, or learn. With her brother, Emir decimated the armies that dared to come and challenge her country, using the mindless thralls created by her spinal fluid on those she decided to serve under her brother. The founder even granted Emir the ability to reverse the process of a thrall, using the combined powers of herself and those with an offspring to change the composition of the fluid in the thralls back from creature to human. We're good. Thank you for asking. It was in the same year that Emir's eldest child, Maria, was born. The founder was pleased, informing Emir that this and any other child would be able to inherit her powers with ease due to the shared bloodline. Emir noticed that her child's injuries healed almost as rapidly as her own. She was almost never ill, had well-developed reflexes, as well as a sharp mind, well above the average child, all things she shared with her mother. The founder said it was all gifts to the bloodline, and that any child of someone with an offspring would be similar. The next to receive an offspring was Emir's sister, and the same ritual was performed in the same place as the one for Emir's brother. This one the founder called the female, not as an insult, but as a title to honor its host body. The female was as large as the Attack, similar in appearance except for being the opposite gender. The founder was firm with Emir that this one would only go to a female host to continue to honor the founder's host and for the first child of the host. The female could mimic to a degree the powers of the Attack, but with limited effectiveness. It could fight almost as well as the Attack, was almost as fast and almost as insightful. The biggest difference, and what allowed the female to the most versatility, was the ability to create hardened crystal on its body to serve as a weapon or armor, and the crystal could only be broken by another piece of crystal. No man-made weapon could destroy it. Well, have fun, Ciel. Thank you for joining us. Emir set the female as the second in command to their brother and watched with joy as her brother and sister worked to bring their enemies down and maintain peace. Emir's second daughter, Rose, was born shortly after. She too possessed the same gifts as her older sister. So it's 9 o'clock my time. Should I continue or should I end here and continue next week? I'll let you guys decide. Hi, Lily. It's nice to meet you. If you need to go, Ash, I understand. I'm sorry. Oh, Lily's your girlfriend. Okay, nice. All right, give us an update really quick, Ash, and then we'll call it a day. I think Ash is trying to type as fast as they possibly can, but it's not fast enough. Or it's not enough characters. It's only 200 per message. Nice. Okay, I like where this is going. I'm afraid of how this is going to end because it's you, Ash, but we'll see. Okay. Oh my god, my throat is so sore from all the talking. Okay. It's sounding good. It's sounding very good. I'm scared for the ending because I remember how it ended at last time for Everlyn and Autumn. Magic. That's all that caught my attention is magic. Magic. I'm wondering, are they witches? Are they a coven? You go on ahead, Kiri. Sorry. Just waiting for Ash to finish up, and then we'll end. Or we'll end at 9:10, whichever comes first. Oh. Okay. No, that makes sense. Sounds really good. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us, Ash. Thank you guys again for coming to our lovely hangout of randomness. And my lovely little types, I will see you next week. And keep an eye out for those videos. But have a good night. Have a good week. Bye bye.